don't have a mirror. How's my hair look?
Your hair, it's got some body today.
Oh, it does?
Yeah. I like it.
It's a little bedhead. I kind of decided not to shower before I got here.
How's mine looking?
Just so you know.
Yours
looks great.
Does it?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm trying to do like some weird
There's a little Ed Grimley going, but it's good.
Right. We'll figure this out. All right. Hey, welcome to the Beat LA podcast. My name is Matt Ferrucci. I'm a writer-director in Los Angeles, and I am joined, as always, by my partner in crime. I wouldn't want to do this podcast with anybody else, a man who I know deep in my heart loves Puerto Ricans, Mr. Paul Rule.
Wow.
Paul, how are you?
I got a couple comments, Matt. Thank you for having me on our
I went
podcast.
there. I did go there.
So you've done that. I don't want to do it with anybody else twice now. And I'm like, does he want to do it with somebody else? Or am I getting replaced?
Yeah, no, I'm sorry that I went there. It's just kind of a thing.
I also can tell you, Matt, and don't take this the wrong way. I love all people, and I do love Puerto Ricans. And I think you could have played a Puerto Rican on television.
That's very much true, and I did. I played an El Salvadorian in a movie.
I just love hearing about your acting career. I always like to see you
I played
up.
this El Salvadorian gambling addict in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Speaking of Puerto Ricans, let's just cut to my favorite. Let's cut to a clip from Rosie Perez from Do the Right Thing.
It's to the curb, Mookie, all right? And I'm tired of it, all right? Because you need to step off with your stupid ass self, okay? And you need to get a fucking life, Mookie, all right?
Paul, how was your weekend?
It was fantastic, Matt.
It's a leading question.
I went to a Halloween party, dude.
Yeah,
and
you went as,
I was going to say this for best things we saw. The best things I saw was myself as Vincent Vega, and Kristen, my lovely wife, went as Mia Wallace from Pulp Fiction.
You with that sort of long hair here, it was hard to get around. I don't think that's a look you should cultivate.
You don't think so? The only problem was the hair kept getting in my mouth when I was drinking.
Yeah.
But I had to have it kind of long on the sides to cover up the gray sideburns.
Well, like if you think you didn't look like a musician. Like you didn't look like a rocker, if anything.
I don't know. I look exactly like Vincent Vega. Anyway, I had a great time. Are you dressing up for Halloween, Matt? That was a Saturday, but we're taping this. It's not quite Halloween yet. So.
I think this is going to drop on Halloween.
As it should.
Are they going to have parties this weekend, or is all the parties last weekend?
I think they were last weekend and or on Thursday night.
Yeah.
You can have your own parties. You can have like a Veterans Day party.
Well, if anyone out there has a party and wants to invite the hosts of the Beat LA podcast, we're interested.
Unless it's an LA Dodger parade, I won't go to that fucking party.
I thought of, and this is going to go over your head, maybe slightly, because I was thinking of going as Eric Tao from Industry. I wanted to get like a Pure Point hoodie from the HBO store, and then get a headset and just walk around LA going, sell, short it.
Do not let people sell the stock. Our traders are only buyers of this. We're not providing liquidity for the other side. Only buyers.
Nobody's going to know what that is.
I think everyone would know what that is.
I'll throw eggs at you.
Nick, would you know what that is? No. Fuck. All right.
Nick just ran a marathon. He's still, his head's not on straight.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We're going to get to the next
his
thing.
lactic acid is built up.
Folks, welcome to the Beat LA podcast. We have a great show for you today. You can watch this show on YouTube. Follow, subscribe on YouTube. You can listen to us on Apple and Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. And you can also follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Chinese government loves us. Last episode was great with Brandon Barash from Days of Our Lives. Man, he's the gift that keeps on giving.
Unbelievable.
His soap army came out and follows and listens.
He's a superstar. And then the news dropped.
About leaving days.
Yeah.
I know.
Anyway, come back on, Brandon, and talk about it.
Yeah, well, we got a great...
And give us another 100,000 views. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, we got a great guest today. We're going to talk a little 49ers. We're going to talk a little World Series. And our guest today is music manager Evan Winiker from Range Music. What else would you want to say about Evan here?
We're going to introduce him later, but, former pop star, band Steel Train with Jack Antonoff, and just an overall great guy, and part of the Beat LA army because his Mets just also lost to the Dodgers.
Yeah, and he's going to kind of tell us what's cool. Listen, I'm teasing it. Stay and listen to this pod if you want to know what to listen to so you can relate to maybe your daughters, your nephews, your nieces, or just for yourself.
Right.
Check out that interview.
Because we're not necessarily giving you what's cool.
Let's jump into this bitch.
Yeah.
Let's start. You want to start? Let's start 49ers. We got to start.
49ers.
Yeah, we got off the schneid. We're back. We're so back.
49ers beanie.
Yeah.
This is the good luck beanie. I wear this when they win. How does that look?
That looks beautiful. We're so back.
We are back, baby. We are fucking back.
You look good there. Very strange brew. We beat the Cowboys barely.
Yeah.
I want to say barely, because me and Paul watched it together, and that fourth quarter came, and me and you were like, here we go again.
So we got together to watch because we felt the team needed the mojo.
Yep.
The Beat LA mojo. It worked, but barely. I was screaming at the TV, texting the Bang Bang Niner Gang text chain when Kyle decided to run on 3rd and half a yard with a 17-point lead. They just can't close the deal. The guy, there's something wrong with him. He's like an addict.
Well, I mean, I don't. Do we want to go there? My theory. I can go there.
You think there may be some domestic problems?
Yeah, I just think he's coaching in a way where there's something going on at home. And for a while, we were like, he's having an affair with some woman he met at Christian McCaffrey's wedding in Rhode Island. It could have been
Call the lawyers.
Yeah, we're not slandering. We're just, it's all conjecture.
Okay. It's conjecture.
It's all conjecture. This is all for fun.
Yeah, no, I look, I agree. He was just coming off the Super Bowl loss. He needed to lick his wounds. His wife's like, you fucking lost again? So he goes to a wedding with Victoria's Secret models. What do you think's going to happen? He's wearing a mustache.
And then because of that, maybe that model, and he's trying to hide it from his wife, and that's getting into the way of his play calling. Or his wife is going behind his back, and he just found out.
Interesting.
Like Kevin Costner or Cal Ripken thing. For those who know, they know.
They know.
Okay? We're grasping here for clicks, but...
Right. So he's a little bit of too much of a workaholic.
Yep.
This would explain why the play calling, he's just going deep every time now. No play action, baby. He's just
going deep.
He's just cutting. No foreplay anymore.
That's true. Hey, listen, if it works, it works. We got to buy this week. I love beating the Cowboys.
This fucking thing's hot.
Yeah, take that off.
How's my hair look now, Matt?
Oh, yeah, hold on, let me see.
Look okay?
Yeah, even more body. Even more body. Nick, let's cut to a clip from last season when the Cowboy fans destroyed their television. One thing we did discover, if we're talking about the Juju, the Silver Linings playbook, the way we kind of do the mojo, we did discover something that worked on 3rd downs in the second half.
Well, there were two things. You started drinking white wine.
Yeah.
Matt's like, I'm not drinking. I'm like, Matt, how about that? He goes, that looks refreshing. And then the other thing that happened, so Kristen doesn't watch a lot of sports, but she happened to be in the room, and she had a headache because we'd gone to a Halloween party the night before as Mia Wallace and Vincent Vega. And so Matt came with this idea that if I rubbed her head on 3rd down, that good things would happen. And they converted like 5 3rd downs in a row when I was rubbing her head. It's like a talisman or a genie in the bottle kind of thing.
Yeah, I just thought of something. When you guys were at that party as Vincent Vega and Mia Wallace, did you guys reenact the best scene from that movie?
I ain't giving her the shot. I never done this before. I ain't never done it before either, all right? I ain't starting now. Look, you brought her here, and that means that you're gonna give her the shot. The day that I bring an OD and bitch to your house, then I give her the shot.
Well, where I stabbed her in the heart with an adrenaline shot?
Yeah.
No, I didn't do that.
All right, so your
hot,
wife's head is now the tree stump from Showtime at the Apollo for the 49ers on 3rd down. That's what we did. I'm going to ask you an obscure question, and I didn't prep you for this, but I'm looking to the future. We're trying to be a future pod.
Okay.
By the time the next one airs after this, next Wednesday on Election Day,
right,
which is even crazier.
Well, Wednesday is Tuesday,
Tuesday is the trade deadline for the 49ers. Do you think we're going to go after guys? Do you think we need to go after a wide receiver? Do we have to D lineman?
So maybe. I like this Okananu guy.
Yeah, okay, let's just call him Okananu, but that D lineman.
He's playing great. He's started playing football in like high school. He's from like Ghana or something. He's great. My concern, everyone thinks Greenlaw's coming back. Yeah. Greenlaw blew out his Achilles like less than a year ago. That's a terrible injury. If he comes back, he's coming back at like 70%. Do they go and find a linebacker?
Yeah, linebacker. I mean, I think Dre's vibe gets him up to 80% out there because they love him and teams fear him because he plays like a criminal. But yeah, I think we need depth at wide receiver.
Yeah. Pearsall's looking good. I will say that, so you and me, I'm the king of the neg, but we have no game this week. We're going to bye week, so I'm going to go positive for a minute. This rookie class they have makes them fun no matter where the season goes. Renardo Green had the best PFF of anybody on the team last year. I don't know what PFF stands for, but apparently it's a good thing. Yep. You got Pearsall, who's doing his best, like Debo, like Jawan Jennings impersonation with that 39-yard end around. Right. Kyle actually started calling some play action and misdirection.
How about my guy, Mustafa?
Mustafa, the missile.
Mustafa reminds me of Macho Man Randy Savage off the top rope.
Macho Man! He just measured him off the top and nailed him with that.
So it's good. I think they're going to make. I think they're going to make a couple deals because
I think they got to make a deal. It's like the trade deadline in baseball. You got to go get somebody just to make the team feel you're all in, just to get that kind of second wind.
Look at the fucking Chiefs. They go out and get DeAndre Hopkins for a 5th-round pick. They went out and got an edge rusher from the Patriots yesterday for a 6th-round pick. There's guys out there. Let's just get rid of these late picks.
Right. Well, there was talk that the Niners were going to fish in the Patriot pond, so we'll see. By the way, I think they're still hopelessly mediocre, and their second half is scary.
Yeah, well, we're going to preview the second half next week.
Okay.
All right. That is our 49ers wrap-up. We're going to be right back with just a little bit of baseball. Dun, 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 dun. All right, guys, we're back. We're just going to do a quick baseball before we get to Evan Winiker. You want to stick around for that interview. World Series is over. As when we're recording this today, it's 3-0. We just have to accept that the Dodgers are the Dodgers. It's the Doyers. It's Doyers land.
I'm not ignoring you, man. I'm pulling up a text that I sent to Tony Capalia and Mike Baus right when Freddie Freeman hit the
home run in the first inning.
Yeah,
the MVP of the World
Kirk
Series.
Gibson 2.0 home run.
Okay, yeah.
I wrote, World Series over. Aaron Boone should be fired. Teams don't recover from that. The A's were a heavy favorite in '88 and lost in 5 games after the Kirk Gibson homer.
Yeah.
Baseball is about momentum and confidence.
Yeah.
And if you think that you are supposed to win, look what the Giants did in those 3 World Series. That thing was over the minute that homer was hit.
Well, it's funny you brought up the '88 World Series Dodgers A's. The A's monster team. They should have won 3-4 World Series titles.
Absolutely.
They win in '89 against the Giants, and then in '90 they lose to the Reds, another team they're supposed to destroy.
Right, and there was no Kirk Gibson homer in that.
But I'll tell you this: last night I was watching Game 3. I was texting with you, and it kind of hit me in the 8th inning after they only had 3 hits off of Walker Buehler. I said, I feel like I'm watching the San Francisco Giants. Yeah. They've somehow gotten into the pinstripes because they're making Walker Buehler look like Greg Maddux.
Well, the guy had Tommy John. Has been terrible in the starting. Last night he's throwing like 97. So I don't know.
Well, but still 94. He was getting rocked at the end of the season. I'm just saying, the Yankees, the psychological factor here.
Psychology stuff. I'm telling you, I said it from the beginning when they went into San Diego and won that elimination game. They were on their way. That's like when the Giants, the Brooks Conrad play in 2010, went through his legs, and they actually won that. They could have easily lost that first round matchup against the Braves. When they didn't, they were playing with house money, and they felt they were fated to be the team.
Yeah. Well, in Game 2, I knew the game was over before it started when I saw Ice Cube come out of center field and do that concert, which gave me goosebumps. It was so fucking awesome. And then I knew Game 3 was a loss when Fat Joe came out of the dugout for the Yankees because they couldn't get Jay-Z and Alicia Keys, so they got Fat Joe, who's great Brooklyn rapper, but it just wasn't the same feeling, and I just knew that they were toast.
So if the Peter Elliott podcast doesn't work out, I'm interviewing for other jobs. There's a job that may become available. There's a guy who writes for the Sports Nippon in Tokyo. Uh-huh. He has to write 364 articles a year on Ohtani, all on the front page. He gets 1 day off when the newspaper's closed on New Year's Day.
You think he likes that job?
It sounds. I've written the same sitcom pilot like 16 times, and so I think it'd be hard.
Well, maybe he gets paid well.
What are the stories?
One of my favorite places I've ever gone was Japan, Tokyo. You ever go to Tokyo?
Multiple times.
You have?
Yeah.
How come we've never talked about our Tokyo experience?
We'll talk about it off the pod. But anyway, we're going to go in mourning when the Dodgers win this fucking World Series. But anyway, I'm in acceptance stage now.
I just want to say, Nick, that was a sort of an advertisement for Love Bars in Tokyo without him saying it.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
My wife, my in-laws, everybody listens to this. You threw me last week. You made it sound like I went to the red light district in Amsterdam, which I think mostly you and Brandon had gone to. I had just been in Amsterdam.
Listen, I'm gonna shout out to your father-in-law, Brian Offria?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm not saying that. Love bars are these bars you go to in Tokyo where the girls just come up to you and make conversation. Right. It's like in Tokyo Vice. They're just there to give you conversation, and it's lovely.
What we call batting practice.
Yeah, batting practice. All right, folks, we're going to be right back with a Slam Bam interview with Evan Winiker. All right, Beat LA heads, we're back. We have an awesome guest this week. We always see this, Paul, but it's really true this time. Yes. Our crack research team usually digs real deep for information when we put together the blurbs to introduce our guest. But this time it was easy, Paul. I just had to go to his IG bio, and that's what I'm going to do for the first time here. Founding managing partner at Range Music, retired musician, wannabe golfer, founder of the Henry Foundation for Dog Care, B+ chef and a solid painter. But to us, he's just a Mets fan from Jersey. Evan Winiker, welcome.
Welcome, Evan.
Thank you guys. Thanks for
Good to see
having
you,
me.
buddy.
Yeah, what's up, man? Paul, this is your guy.
He is my guy. Evan's the best guy ever. I will say, every time Evan walks in the room, I smile. And at my birthday, he brought me a gift, and that was the note he said. Is every time I walk in the room and I see you, I smile. So you're a good
That's
guy.
so sweet. And you guys make me feel so good. I could take this all day.
Take it all day,
Can you?
right?
Yes.
Oh, it's going to get worse, though. Just wait.
Let's
man.
bottle this Beat LA perfume.
Our
cologne.
goal is to get you fired by the end of this podcast. No, that's not it.
Oh my God.
Wait, what?
Oh my God.
Jersey.
Yes.
So a lot of like Satrials, Sopranos, like when you were a kid, running numbers.
Yeah, well, that was my life growing up. No, it was far from that. But I definitely went to high school right by where they filmed that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, great place.
Gotcha. Like
Yeah.
what, was that mid-90s?
It was.
Late 90s.
I think I was in high school in the late
Early
90s.
aughts. Okay.
Yeah, I graduated in 2001 and then kind of just took off from there and started playing music.
It's a
Before
good
we get
segue.
that-
Okay, what are we going to talk?
Let's go Mets first. Let's just apologize.
Yes, please.
Sorry. I mean,
No.
that was rough. But
Raise
it was
my
great.
Mets glass to you.
I love that
Yeah,
glass.
sorry about that. Everyone's a Beat LA fan. Everyone against the Dodgers, right? We had that in common.
It was a rough series, but a magical season.
Yes.
And I actually thought John Mayer said it really well. Did you see that?
No, tell us.
No.
He did this beautiful Instagram post where he talked about how magical it was and how everyone can kind of take something from it. And I mean, they were this team that obviously had a big payroll, but midway through the year, it was like, here we go again.
Right.
Another season.
Right.
And then they just turned it on towards the end and had this insane run.
Right.
Obviously it came down to the last game of the season, win the wild card, win the next series.
Yeah.
We all wanted them to go to the World Series, but we got a great run out of it.
I mean, do you think Francisco Lindor, because I know that you had a problem with Eric Adams as the mayor in New York City. He's got some issues. I think Lindor could win the election if he
He's
ran.
so happy. You see he just smiles all the time also. He's like,
Yeah.
makes people feel really good.
Yeah, it's really true.
He was kind of stealing money till this year, but yeah, he had a great year. So, how are you a Mets fan? I thought Jersey were Yankees fans.
It's a great question. My grandparents are from Forest Hills, Queens.
Okay, there you go.
Which was like 6 minutes from Shea Stadium. So the first sporting event I ever went to, the first real event, was a Mets game at this old field. It was such an old stadium by that point. But I grew up going there with my great uncle and my grandfather, and we would sit all the way at the top in the rafters. But those were such special games. And the teams that I grew up with, like Piazza, even earlier than that, even before him, they were great, but it's been fun the last 20 years. It's been, they've had some good seasons.
You were not born in 80. Were you born in 86?
I was born in 82.
Okay, but at 4, you probably don't have the same memories that Matt has of the Mets team. They're his second favorite team.
They're my
You wanna
second
say why,
favorite
Matt?
team.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
well, in 1986, even though I was 11 at the time,
Yeah.
I still was able to enjoy Dwight Good and Darryl
Yes.
Strawberry, Tim Tuffle, Lenny Dykstra,
Yes.
Sid Fernandez.
yeah.
All those guys,
Oh.
not because of their baseball abilities, but
Yeah.
because of their partying abilities.
Yeah, they probably went real hard. I watched all those docs.
The bad guys won. I'm surprised that hasn't been made into a movie yet
It will be. I think there was like a great doc that
on ESPN.
Jimmy Kimmel did it, right?
Right,
his
yeah.
company.
Interesting. If
Yeah.
only we knew people at Range Media who could make that movie. And if only
One day.
the main investor at Range Media didn't to own the Mets.
That's true.
Is that
That's
right?
true.
We talked about that?
Yeah.
So you must get pretty good tickets now.
You'd think, no, we have a great relationship with them. Like,
Yeah.
I think a couple years ago we did some work with them, which was fun, especially for me getting to
Sure.
be a part of that.
Yeah.
It's just been a fun ride to be a part of.
I mean, you just said when you started going to games, you were in the upper deck.
Yeah.
Arguably in the Bob Uecker seats.
Yes.
These fans know I drink light because it's less filling and it tastes great. Good seats, huh?
You're in the wrong seat, buddy. Come on.
Oh, I must be in the front row.
And from there to go to, I saw on your Instagram, to like running around the actual field
Yeah,
and being
that
in
was
the
great.
dugout. That's kind of like
That I'll say this, like that has been a bonus, being able to be a part of things that you grew up loving.
Right.
Our company's really special. I'm really proud of it and very lucky to be a part of it. There are opportunities every now and then that you get to synergize. We had a client who wanted to do a performance on Kimmel, but wanted to do it differently.
Okay.
And we have this great relationship with the Mets. and they gave us Citi Field for a day. And we shot this Jimmy Kimmel performance at Citi Field. Wow. And while we were there, they were like, you guys want to go on the field? And I was like, without a doubt, let's go.
Yeah. Did you get to batting practice?
Didn't get to do that. I would have loved that. That'd be cool.
You'd love that. Matt's a former D1 baseball player,
wow.
kind of.
Well, kind of. We went to Chicago this year for the Cubs Giants with a bunch of his knucklehead buddies.
Great park.
We went to this bar in Chicago with a batting cage.
Okay.
And we all got in the cage. Yeah. Him and his buddies were, as you'd expect, you know. And then I got in there and I showed them what's up.
Good. I'm sure you crushed it.
Yeah, it was nice.
Why don't we have that here? That's a great idea for a bar. Yeah.
Sort of like a Top Golf, but for batting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. We got to get on that, Paul.
I think I'd get injured, but could be pawn shop. Diego Torres Palma.
So the dream of being the next Mike Piazza died.
Yes.
And then you said, well, in that case, I'm going to be a rock star.
I wish it was like that, A to B.
Look at that segue.
I think life is so beautiful because you kind of fall into things. And a lot of the things you want that you don't get, you end up realizing I was never meant to have that. I was always meant to have this. And I grew up actually in the city on the Upper West Side. And when I was 10 or 11, moved to New Jersey and got to go to this really small school, great place called Solomon Schechter. And I met a few of my best friends, and one of them happened to be a guy named Jack Ananoff, and we all started playing music together at really young ages. And I think we all just pushed each other, but we were also, lucky to be a part of something. It was the right place at the right time. Yeah. There was this burgeoning music scene in New Jersey that was this DIY ethic of punk music and hardcore and kids renting out VFW halls and local bands playing. Okay. So when we were like 14 or 15, we were going to these shows and we were also playing them. And having that experience at that age was huge for us. And we ended up getting signed, and the second band ended up becoming a really, successful touring band, I would say.
Right.
We had a great experience, did that for a long time. It was great.
That Jack guy, I heard he hasn't, he's like a plumber now. What is he doing? He hasn't really done
I think
anything.
he's like a carpenter at Taylor Swift's house.
That's
exactly.
Built stuff for her. The band is called Steel Train. You want to check them out? I actually deep dived into you guys. It's actually the music fantastic.
Fucking great.
You guys should have been fucking huge.
Yeah.
And I saw on Conan and Letterman.
Yeah.
And you were the bass player in the band, right?
Yeah.
Why'd you call yourself Steel Train?
I think Jack and Scott, who started the band when they were in high school also, would play in the hallways, and I think they would cover a song called Steel Train, and people just called them that. I'm sure, I could tell you this, we definitely regretted it through the years, because when you think of that, it's a very visual sounding thing, and we were so far from what that looked like to people.
Sure.
Did you ever think about going to the guy from Train, the band, who created like the most annoying earworm song ever? You know the song I'm talking about?
Drops of Jupiter? Or
fucking, and there's and go and just like Tanya Harding, that guy, and be like, hey,
so
we're the only Train band.
He gets like subconsciously violent on the pod.
I've played a lot of golf with that guy. He's really nice.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, really nice guy.
Interesting. All right, well I guess you could take him out on the golf course.
I could.
Call Jack Nicholson on him.
Wait, he sent me a bunch of stuff, and I just love that we have our first guest who's played Letterman and Conan.
Our next guests are a talented rock and roll band from New Jersey, and I have a copy of their new self-titled album right here. Please welcome Steel Train, ladies and gentlemen.
Fave? I mean, it's hard. I mean, you could love all your kids, but did you have what were both experiences like?
The first one, the Conan experience, was special because that was our first time doing any kind of TV.
Yeah.
And we were nervous, but also excited, and it's that magical feeling, and we crushed it. It was great. And the guy who booked that show is a really close friend of ours and had us back on the show a bunch of times. And
who was the guest with you? Like, who was like, do you remember that?
Oh my God, I should remember that. I don't. Okay. I remember some. We did a lot of those shows through the years, and every now and then you'd get Mike Tyson, or you'd get not Tom Cruise, but like fun people like that.
Yeah.
I saw you guys were like the first guest on when he went over to TBS or something, like
we were,
first musical guest.
Episode 0.
Yeah, episode 0.
That was so cool. Also,
so he must have. Yeah, you must have. I mean, he must have liked you guys.
He brought
you back.
He was always nice to us. I'm sure when you're him and it's like the Larry Sanders Show type thing, it's like a zoo and you've got 100 things going on every day.
Right.
But he was always really nice to us.
Letterman, is that theater as cold as they say?
It was, and I remember going through the hallway and then being like, if you see him in the hallway, don't look him in the eyes, which I don't know if that's true, but people said that.
That doesn't make sense. Does that make sense to you? Like, don't look Letterman in the eyes?
Yeah.
I knew guys who wrote on that show. That was always the case.
I was in the first movie I ever did in college. I was an extra in Get Shorty, and I remember. Thank you, because it's a big part of it.
You had a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
Actually, I was. You can see me in the movie.
Real okay. Can we find that clip?
I am pushing the right button.
Harvey Keitel.
Yeah.
Don't look him in the eye.
Wow.
But that makes sense.
They said that?
Well, I mean, it's a vibe he gives.
Yeah.
But that makes sense.
Sure.
Letterman just seems like a great dude.
Yeah, you think.
So
I'm sure he is. Who knows? It's so hard to tell. Everyone's different, right?
Did you feel like you guys killed on those shows? Because I feel like sometimes when I watch Saturday Night Live, it's the different.
I think we did. We had one story. We did the George Lopez show, and this was like a short-lived show on TBS, but he actually had really good guests through the years. And we started playing, and I think Jack's amp died towards the end of the performance, so he was like, stop, stop, stop. So we had to tape it again.
Yeah.
And then the amp died again. He was like, stop, stop, stop. And we taped it 3 times, and they were like, literally like, this is the last time. It's over after this.
Got it.
So that was the only one that was kind of like a bummer of an experience,
Sure.
but I think the rest were good.
That'd be great if it was live and he could like Ashley Simpson it and just run off like Saturday Night Live. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know that I actually did such a deep dive that I know the name of your first band. He was in a punk rock band
love it.
called Random Task.
Yeah.
Am I right about that?
Yeah. I've heard about
Look
that.
at you.
I want to hear them.
Yeah.
And you're a bass player. Were you a bass
Yeah.
player? So what is your favorite bass player movie, and how does a bass player do, relatively speaking, with groupies?
These are great questions.
He's the only friend I can ask about.
No, of
groupies.
course, yes.
I would say we were always very cool with people and nothing, below board. I had girlfriends for a lot of the time we were touring and stuff.
That's a good answer.
Well, you might run for politics.
He's now in the
one day.
C-suite, man. He's got a.
I love Paul McCartney. He's like my favorite bass player probably of all time.
Yeah.
A lot of the bass players we grew up watching were like older kids. One of them went to our high school. Some of them were in like local bands. So I kind of idolized those guys because I was at that age of 14, 15.
Yeah.
Through the years, Phil Lesh, who just passed away.
Yep.
One of my favorite bass players.
The Grateful Dead, yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
There's so many good ones. We all got into different types of music. I discover bass players now. Even Van Morrison's bass player. I was just listening to Astral Weeks, and I started looking up who he was. It's very cool.
What's that movie? We're going to cut to the
Matt
clip
knows
here.
everything about bass from I Love You Man.
From I Love You Man. Yeah,
Great movie.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Their favorite band was
Geddy Lee and Rush. Yeah.
Rush. Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. Rush. Slapping the bass.
Yeah.
Cut to the clip.
Slapping the bass, mama. Slapping the bass, mama. There you go. Slapping that bass, mama. I slapping that bass.
Please don't do that.
Yeah. Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
Bass. People don't think about. Maybe I'm a tourist. I met Paul McCartney once.
Did you?
It's my greatest thing ever.
I love this.
I was at the Soho House.
Yeah.
And to meet this guy.
Yeah.
I had to go to the counter and say his name,
Yeah.
and then I had to say my name, and all of a sudden I hear this English accent. I'm like, what? Holy shit! And I got on the elevator with him, and I'm like, I got to say something.
Yeah.
I got to be that asshole. And the elevator door opened. I should have got out first, but I held the door and I said, after you. And he looked at me and he said, thank you.
Wow.
This is one of my favorite stories because for you, this is a story you tell and tell and tell, and it means
works.
so much. And for him, it's an elevator ride.
It's an elevator.
elevator
exactly.
ride.
I was in the elevator at Soho House with Rod Stewart.
Wow.
And he was with his wife and kids, and he made a really bad dad joke.
Oh.
And I laughed. And he looks at me and he goes, he gets it.
Yeah.
And he walked out of the elevator.
Soho House gets a lot of old rockers.
Well, apparently.
Yeah,
and we're good audience. We just kissed everybody's ass.
Rachel Hunter? Was Rachel Hunter?
I think it was Rachel Hunter. Maybe the next wife.
Do you have an elevator story?
Yeah.
I do. That's a great question. I have a bunch. I don't want to tell them, but I have to.
Yeah, I got you.
He goes in the same category as the groupie question.
Gotcha.
So you, around 2013, Steel Train kind of packed it in, is that right? And then you moved in. What was your life moment that made you
It was actually really
go on the
interesting.
other side of things?
Jack had another band, Fun, which was blowing up and doing
Fun,
great.
big.
And we were going to start this other band, and I think it was this amazing intersection. We had these other friends, Josh and his partner Brandon, that were starting a management company, and they were managing a really young Bruno Mars. This is well before 24 Karat Magic and Uptown Funk. This is just the way you are era. And they really wanted to build a company around him, and they gave me this great opportunity, and I essentially jumped at it and started managing at that point and really fell in love with it and started developing acts. I would find people that I really believed in and sign them to labels, and we would get to the next step and the next step. And through the years, it just took me to different places. I worked with Brandon and Danny and Josh and those people for years, and then Irving Azoff and Jeffrey and that company, Full Stop, and I've just had these great opportunities. I've been at the right place. I've had a great attitude, which I think is really important. And I've always had this curiosity for finding new things and being a part of great things and helping inspire people and being inspired.
I remember when I first got started in this whole crazy business, I loved music. Like I have a giant vinyl collection and I can't.
Yeah, you do.
I can't carry a tune, and I won't get a tattoo. But other than that, all I wanted to be was a rock star. I think all of us do. But somebody said to me, "Don't go into the music business. You'll end up hating music because you see sort of the seedy side of it, all the bullshit." So that hasn't happened to you. Yeah, they told me not to go into the music business.
Oh man,
how have you stayed uncynical, man?
I love these questions. I really do, because it's fun to answer them because you start thinking about. I think for me, you go through waves, and like I'm so blessed. The artists that I work with, I love. I've worked with most of them for a long time, and every now and then you bring someone else on the journey, and you're a part of their journey. I think it's finding different things to be excited about. I just recently, found something really special but really small, and it makes me really excited to listen to the songs. I have another artist who's already playing arenas and amphitheaters and places like that, and there's so many fun things about that. Building out the shows, making them unique, making the fans feel inspired and special. So there's all these different things you take away, but there's certainly moments in my day, every day, that are difficult, and a lot of the time it's with our partners because they have a lot of clients, so I think everyone has different priorities that day, and if your priority is here and their priority is over here, it's hard to get aligned.
You must have great self-control. I was just in Europe for 3 weeks, and every day I'd get up and I'm like, I'm not drinking today, and then I would drink. So if I was like touring with bands and stuff like that, I mean, you have no self-control.
I have no self-control, but I love how you find a way to slip in your trips to Europe every podcast.
I love it.
It's like a drinking game.
I want to hear, where in Europe?
We were in Mallorca and Italy and English countryside in London.
So nice.
Don't encourage him. Wow. Yeah, but it was nice.
You can do this podcast from anywhere, as it turns out.
So, this is our first sort of music guy that we've had on, and we want to take advantage of this.
Love it.
So we've edged into, I think, we're not cool anymore.
Okay.
We're hitting that age range on the application.
You're still a baseball player. You seem too millennial, whatever you are, to be a baseball player.
What's cool? What's right now?
Baseball fan.
Let me be more specific. What groups are you digging?
Cool is in the eye of the beholder, right? So for an 18-year-old kid right now, cool might be like Turnstile. For a 25-year-old girl, cool might be Gracie Abrams. For a 35-year-old guy, cool might be Wilco. For a 45-year-old guy, cool might be My Morning Jacket. What do I like right now? I lean more towards the organic stuff that is made with instruments, but I also love stuff that's out of the box. I really love Gregory Alan Isakov. He's an amazing folk singer from Colorado. I think he's really special. Every song he plays, you could really feel his soul in it, and it feels like he cultivated it from the earth, which is beautiful.
Right.
But I also love, stuff that's electronic and I'm all across the board.
So do you think rock and roll's dead?
I don't think so.
No,
I think certainly that's a question people ask. Yeah. I don't think it's dead. I think it exists. Obviously, you've got Arctic Monkeys who are still crushing it, and you've still got Foo Fighters who are still crushing it.
But new rock and roll, like if you got psyched listening to punk rock when you were in high school. Are 14-year-old kids still rebelling against their parents and
totally they're
listening to punk rock?
It's just beneath the surface. I think there's a band called like Destroy Boys right now, and you've got I see clips every now and then of like huge acts playing with like mosh pits and circle pits, and there's an audience for it.
I have a question. Something just hit me, and I'm going to feel smart about this. Okay,
do it, man.
So when I was growing up, how we discovered music, I'd be like, the radio. I'd hear something, and then it became music videos.
Yeah.
And then, obviously CDs to the MP3s and all that stuff. Now I find my music, like as a director, when I'm trying to find scores or music to sing, like it's no longer any of that. it's social media.
Yeah.
Like I'm finding from like 15-minute things on TikTok.
Yeah.
I find my music from TikTok and Instagram
Isn't
Reels.
that beautiful? I think that's
But
the
is
best
that
thing.
what I'm saying for you as someone who's done it and also behind the scenes? Is that beautiful or does that make it harder or
I
easier?
love it. I could
Okay.
tell you that 30 years ago, to get your music discovered, there were gatekeepers that controlled that process. Radio people that ran radio stations, they were gatekeeping that. People that ran CD stores and like the chains, they were gatekeeping that. And, you know, it was hard to get discovered. You had these small things like college radio, which would like play stuff at like 1:30 in the morning or 120 minutes on MTV, also at like 12. Exactly.
Where
But
I
it was
found all
like,
my music and
now there's this beautiful thing. The funnel has gone like this. And because of streaming, which everyone saw as this big, oh no, this is going to be so bad, it's opened the floodgates. And it's like everyone can discover music. And I think with social media, which is kind of the next phase of that, it's almost like small vignettes, like small movies being made, because you're putting these beautiful pieces of music on top of these beautiful visuals, and that creates an emotion. You know, and the hair on my arm stands up when something beautiful happens that inspires me. And it's those moments. And I could tell you a song I've heard a million times on these beautiful dog videos, because I love dogs, is the Billie Eilish song from Barbie. And it's a beautiful song. And it's like, it works so well over every dog clip, duck clip, goose clip, doghouse, hen house.
What I want out of each and every one of you is a hard target search of every gas station, residence, warehouse, farmhouse, hen house, outhouse, or doghouse in that area.
She literally came from making music in her like bedroom with her brother, right? And somehow got an audience that way.
So crazy.
Before we get you out of here, you mentioned dogs.
Yes.
You got your foundation.
Yes.
Let's plug it.
That's why I want to talk to you guys all day. I would talk about this all day.
Yeah.
So I grew up not having dogs, you know, didn't have tons of friends with dogs, but maybe about 5 years ago, I rescued a dog, and he changed my life and gave me something really every day, every night, every morning that made me feel really whole. And tragically, he passed away earlier this year. The circumstance of him passing away was really unfortunate. And through darkness, I hopefully found some light. And I think that light really is here to help others. So we started this foundation called the Henry Foundation. And what we do is we raise money for people that can't afford veterinary care. So single moms, families, really anyone. We get emails every day from people saying, you know, my dog got sick yesterday. I brought him to the vet and the bill was $12,000. I can't afford this, let alone a bunch of other things. And that helps them so much. And that makes me feel so good. So his death has saved so many countless other dogs, which is something I'm really proud of.
That's cool. And so if people want to find out more, they can go to
the Henry Foundation for Dog Care.org. Okay. And we've actually got our first big event coming up. It's a golf event at Lakeside Golf Club.
Okay.
Very excited for that, November 17th. You know, it's going to have really fun people at it and some really cool items in the silent auction. We got some really cool sports things signed by people and some guitars signed by people.
Okay.
That's great, man. I'm proud of you for making a good thing out of a bad thing. And speaking of that charity auction, we will get back to, we'll let you out here in a minute, but back to the sports of it all. So you guys also represent Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think you just showed me right before the pod that he had signed something. Is that going to be for the Henry Foundation?
It will be, yeah.
Very cool. Tell us about Brock. Tell us the real story. We have a lot of conjecture about Brock. You know, he just got married. He's now having, I think, sex for the first time. He's not playing as well. Right. I've got my theories on that. What do you know from the inside about our buddy
I
Brock
wish I
Purdy?
had intel. I don't.
Okay.
I'm blessed to be tangentially associated with it.
Yeah.
I've heard he's a great person and a great guy. And obviously he's an amazing quarterback. What he did with the 49ers last year was next level. And even this year, with all the injuries they have, he's really rising above, which is great.
I think Paul gets excited because of like the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. So to be to 1 degree from Brock,
totally
gets him like down below a little.
Totally.
Little
I wish I was closer. No, I'm kidding.
Who else? What other sports guys do you guys rep?
We rep some great people in all sports. John Florence, who's this amazing surfer. Gabby Thomas, who's obviously an amazing Olympic athlete. Alana Marr, who really had a big moment at the Olympics this year. She was on the rugby team. a lot of basketball players, a lot of football players.
Okay.
It's really cool and it's fun. It gives us a rooting interest. So like I find myself watching these sports that I normally wouldn't watch.
Sure. It's like fantasy, but different.
Yeah. I'm so proud and blessed, really.
Well, I want to say this is a few of Paul's guests have come on, Paul's friends, and I got to say you've number one with a bullet.
Let's go.
So fucking.
Let's go.
Maybe because you didn't go to Princeton. You don't like Princeton people.
That's why I didn't go to college.
Oh, good. Here, give me 5. Give me 5.
See?
Yeah, baby.
There it is.
Who plays you in the movie?
Oh, yeah.
Who do you get?
Yeah.
I mean, Brad Pitt, of course. Right?
See? This is why he's been so successful.
Fucking Brad. Yeah. It's like we don't have to overthink this. Is this what we say to your clients too? Like, listen, guys, we don't have to overthink this.
No, you don't need to overthink this, but I would love that. That would be cool.
Yeah. What's your handicap?
Now I'm a 6.
Wow.
Lowest I've ever been.
Do you smoke like cigars on the course, drink beers? I
smell-
play great up to 2 beers and then it all goes south.
I love the way cigars smell. I hate the way they taste, so it doesn't work for me. And if I have like one sip of beer on the course, I fall apart because I'm such a lightweight. So I don't drink on the course.
You sound like me. You sound like me. Are you half Asian like I am?
I don't think so. Let's do 23andMe together.
We should do that.
It's called
Yeah.
self-restraint. And last question, what's the best public golf course? You probably play all private. Best public golf course in LA?
Easy answer, Rustic Canyon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rustic Canyon's not
I would
bad.
agree with that.
I was going to go with DeBell maybe.
DeBell's cool, but it's a smaller course.
You got to be better.
Yeah, but Rustic Canyon, Gil Hance design, beautiful course, always have tea times.
Evan, thanks for coming on.
Stuck the
Thanks for
landing,
having
as
me.
they say.
Yeah.
Appreciate you
Great to see
guys.
you,
Yeah, take
You
care.
too.
All right, we're back. Beat LA. I love that interview with Evan, man. Really insightful, really good guy. That's the type of guy I want representing me.
Right. The lack of cynicism is incredible. After the interview, I was like, he's like the George Kittle of the entertainment business. He's a happy warrior. I would follow that guy in anything.
You know what I was thinking?
Yeah.
I was thinking for the love of the game, for the love of the music, cut to a clip from Kevin Costner.
The boys are all here for you. We'll back you up. We'll be there. Because, Billy, we don't stink right now.
I mean, he just loves what he does, and just like a good man.
It's inspiring. It's inspiring.
It's inspiring.
All right, Matt. So we're bringing it home. What's happening now?
I just want to say real quick, do you have a dick joke that concerns Steph Curry?
I thought you were going to get at our sponsor, but sure. So we're not going to talk much Warriors, but they already have an injury. They looked great the first 2 games here. He has a peroneal injury. You know what a peroneal is, Matt?
No, I saw that and I didn't know what was
apparently
happening.
it's attached to the foot where it attaches. So when I first saw it, I thought he had Peyronie's. And Peyronie's disease is actually when you have a crooked dick.
Crooked dick.
Yeah. So I thought it was Peyronie's, but apparently it's not.
You thought
he might have both. I don't know.
You thought Steph Curry had a crooked dick, and that's why he was out for 2 games.
I had to look it up.
That's great. Folks, this podcast is brought to you by Pet Pro Supply Co. If you need things for your dogs, cats, alligators in the bathtub, your parrots, squirrels, or possums, go to Pet Pro Supply Co. They have everything you need, and they're a great sponsor of this show. Pet peeves or pet pleasures. Paul, do you have any?
Okay, so you know how Pink Taco left me?
Yeah.
They were my neighbors.
Yeah.
So what's happening now in my building, there's like a little lobby area. They're putting in a weed store called the Sunset Social Club.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Why are all these weed stores happening?
Yeah.
I don't like weed stores. I'm sorry, I'm an old school guy. I don't need a weed store in the lobby of my office.
Yeah, no, you're old school. I mean,
They're fucking everywhere, man.
we loved it when some guy would show up on a bicycle.
Yeah.
That's how it should be.
It should be,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Where they're like, the blunt is like half filled.
And I think that would help a lot of addiction out there is like it's too accessible. You have to make people work for their drugs. Like, I quit a lot of times because the dealer went MIA and dark, so I got clean. You know what I'm saying? So like, if you really want it, you got to work for it.
Between you and Evan, this is our self-help episode we've been searching for. Anyway, I'm tired of weed dispensaries taking over LA.
I think that's great. You know what? This is real logical pet peeves. We're not going for clicks or laughs here.
Yeah.
I have a pet peeve.
Great.
Listen, I hate boxing my food at a fucking table. I hate doing this.
Right.
Hey, I want to wrap this
That's
up.
a COVID hangover.
It's bullshit.
Yeah.
And they bring the boxes and make me bust my stuff. And I'm not being a dick here, okay? I love it when the waiters or the help staff come over and then they take it and they box it for us.
Right.
Man, it's just,
the whole point of a restaurant is they're spitting your food in the back, but you don't see it.
Yeah.
So you don't worry about it. I don't like it happening in front of me.
That look like spit to you? Yeah. Fuck it.
I hate that fucking shit so much,
Look,
man.
Look, we're kind of on the same page these days. I'm worried about that. We're even wearing the same shirt.
Like boxing my own food at a restaurant is like Mount Rushmore pet peeve for me. Like, I did the Ewoks last week, but this week it's definitely that. I have a quick pet pleasure.
Right.
Did you see the Jaden Daniels Hail Mary?
I did. That was great.
And did you see the thing that went viral about the cornerback?
Oh, talking the shit with the
fans?
With the fans, yeah.
First and foremost, the game is not over your back. Like, I can't fathom being this just out of touch with what's going on.
I think he did great afterwards. He apologized to his teammates. He got up in front of everybody. He apologized on Twitter. He said it'll never happen again. Lapse of judgment. I want to say I fucking loved it. I loved what he did. And I get what, I'm get him taking shit. But he's riling up the crowd that runs over for the Hail Mary. I thought it was really funny, and I have no problem. I want to see more of that. We're going to do Best Things We Saw, also retitled The Things That Paul Watches 4 months later and when it's out of the zeitgeist. That's my dig at Paul. Paul, should we get to mine or yours first on Best Things?
I think we should get to yours, Matt. I didn't jump on your Hail Mary, so I want to show you that I care about what you think.
This is a recommendation for something that's out there in the world right now. Ben, I'm looking right at you, Ben. Go see the film Anora. It's in theaters right now. Sean Baker directed it. Great independent filmmaker.
Sean Baker, who did the Florida Project.
Florida Project.
Yeah.
And he also did a movie last year that did really well. I saw it. It's with Simon Rex. Remember that one?
No.
He plays a porn star. Anyway, Anora, it's in theaters now. It's about a sex worker from Brooklyn, gets her chance at a Cinderella story when she meets and marries the son of a Russian oligarch. Once the news reaches the family in Russia, her fairy tale is threatened when the parents come to New York City. Pretty Woman on crack cocaine freebase. This movie, I think the lead character, Mickey Madison, is going to get an Oscar nomination. Wow. Chaos, hilarious, heartfelt, rom-com, rom-drama.
It won something at Cannes, right?
It
Palme
did.
d'Or
It won the Palme d'Or at Cannes. It reminds me of, it's like an Uncut Gems energy around this girl who is a sex worker and falls in love with an idiot. It's like if Richard Gere's character in Pretty Woman was a 21-year-old Russian idiot. And
it sounds amazing. It's up my alley. It has all the things I like.
No, it's a really wonderful film. All the characters are realized. You fall in love with everybody. It's a great film. It's in my top 5 of this year. It's a fucking great piece of filmmaking.
That's coming up. Our year end's coming up, man.
And also for Nick, I just want to say there's lots of tatas in this film. And I know you're a big fan of tatas. I'm actually looking at you, but I'm speaking to Paul.
That might have helped Nick at the 24th mile marker of the marathon.
I was going to save it for shout-outs, but you're right. At the 24-mile marker, yeah, the tatas.
Instead of the gel, just look at Matt's Instagram.
Yeah, exactly. Jesus. Anyway, go see Anora. Paul, Best Things. What do you got?
Okay.
Yeah.
I hate to say you're right, Matt, but you're right. Okay, I finally got around to watching the Menendez Brothers show, right? Monsters, Ryan Murphy. Got the Ryan Murphy treatment.
Yep.
Okay, as you know, I went to college with Lyle Menendez, right?
Correct.
So I know a lot about this. I should have been hired as a consultant on this. I wasn't. I can tell you that it's intriguing. We just watched the episode last night where the guy who plays Eric does the literally the one scene episode, 35 minutes without a cut, where they keep it on his face the whole time.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm going to do some fact checking here. It's political season, right? They like to do fact checking. So Lyle was not nearly that preppy. The clothes in this thing are not correct. We were not wearing those clothes in 1989 in Princeton, whatever. Lyle was going to class in like a hoodie and fucking ripped jeans.
Francois Trabose.
Yeah, he wasn't wearing the Ryan Murphy, meets Challengers, let's make everything homoerotic kind of thing. Again, works. Totally works.
That's what I'm saying. It works.
But I'm just saying there's some fact checking going on. That was not the Lyle I knew. The hairpiece was not nearly that good.
Okay.
It was not nearly that good.
Yeah.
It was like falling off when he was playing tennis. Anyway, I'm enjoying the show. But I just want you to keep in mind, it is not a documentary. If you want to watch a documentary, it's on Max. And George Gascon he's trying to save his job by saying he's going to get him out of prison. He's going to get the Menendez brothers out of prison.
I was going to ask you, you think that happens? Just like your early betting?
I think these two things are going to get him out of early.
So
they've been in there for fucking 30 years.
I mean, Gascon, Kim Kardashian's visiting him in prison. Wow, isn't that incredible?
Right.
That's incredible. Paul, I'm coming around. Like all of a sudden you watch Challengers, you call it the best tennis movie, you love that movie.
The tennis in Menendez Brothers is terrible.
But what I said was it's a guilty pleasure, this show, and you're going to like it, and you are.
I'm liking it.
I mean, it's because of the Milli Vanilli soundtrack.
It's also because I feel like I'm in the movie.
Yeah, you are.
Because I was there.
Yeah.
And by the way, the other fact check, he did not cheat on a psych exam. He cheated on a psychology take-home exam where he basically plagiarized it from his roommate. So they got that part wrong too.
I love it. Paul,
lazy.
You bring the inside scoop, the behind the scenes stuff that everyone's looking for. Quick, before we get out of here, any shout outs? I think we got the shout outs obvious.
We got Nick.
Nick Conrad, our editor, our man behind the guy on the wheels of steel behind the scenes, ran a marathon
steel train.
this weekend. He ran the Marine Corps Marathon in Washington, D.C. He finished it. Go check him out on his Instagram. What was the time, Nick? He did it in 3:44. Should have been, what? Should have been 3:35. Should have been 3:35. But he cramped up. I would
have cramped up at the half-mile mark.
At the half-mile mark. Shout out to Nick for being the guy that we all wish we used to be.
Right, and then showing up for work today.
Yeah. Any other? By the way, speaking of him going real quick, remember watching triathlons in the wild world of sports when we were kids? And just remember they used to do in Hawaii?
Sure.
Ironmans, and they would collapse, and it would be at the dead of night. And
I mostly watched the Superstars.
Oh, Battle of the Network Stars?
Battle of the Network Stars.
Fuck, it was so good.
Will Pernell Roberts ever get up? Does Randy Oakes finally get off? Can Scott Baio get loose? Why was Melissa Gilbert at the end of her rope? Battle of the Network Stars, Friday night on ABC.
All right, Paul.
We're going to do Battle of the Podcast Stars, a special episode.
All right. How do you want to get us out of here?
So, Matt, the good news is the baseball season is almost over because I can't handle it anymore.
Great.
So we can live in a perpetual state of beat LA.
Gotcha. Right. And next week we got a great guest, Mara Easttown. If you're a fan of that show on HBO, we got someone coming in. Kate Winslet will be our guest next week on the Beat LA podcast. Until then, Paul.
Beat LA.
Beat LA.